What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Artificial Exploration, second episode. If you watched the first episode, at the end of that episode, I did say that the next was coming soon. It's been 3 weeks. I'm sorry, but a lot has happened in those 3 weeks. This is going to be a little bit of an update. I actually haven't got any further on the development of a broader YouTube and podcast, so I am still going through talking about that one. But there was a further development that happened behind the scenes a little bit, which I'd like to discuss. I'll throw a couple of pictures on the screen in the back actually of where I started, and my partner has a little bit of an office. I kind of took over that office. She needed it back, so I needed somewhere to go, really. Which meant I don't really have anywhere studio-wise. I've never done this before. So I don't do things by half at all. So I built a studio. Not properly, don't I know this is meant to be about as cheap as possible, if not free, but definitely low cost. So I wanted low cost anyway. And I'll explain a lot. Again, I'll throw some pictures of a little bit of a development where I've kind of moved up into me loft, attic space, and started putting a little bit of work out on that. I've reached out to a few people, and this is a bit of a thank you. Thank you to everybody who's helped. Thank you. And where we've got to, as you can see in the back now, so a couple of other lights that were in there. I've stated in the last one that gifted, so grateful. Microphone, there we go. Again, so thankful for that. Some of these items, when you start looking into creating better content, whilst they may not be necessary, they do create better content, and better content sells. So if I'm going down this road of showing people how it's done in really poor content, in a really poor way, but if it's just for podcasting, you still only need a phone, because all of this is done on a phone. The only problem that I did see myself was I mentioned using a phone, but then displayed the phone on a monitor because I was using the phone to record. And then people would send me messages, and I'd have to then, oh, I need to record. Oh, tea's ready. Oh, I need to record. Where are you? You're late for work. Oh, I need to record. I'm joking. That didn't happen. But so I had to get a little bit more of a setup so I can create better content and show how this is done, and that's brought us to this particular point now. But what it also brought was an understanding of community values that a lot of us thought were gone. I reached out to people and mentioned what this channel's goal was, and that was to show people how to do this, if not for as cheap as possible, but then at least close enough to free. Now, statistically wise, a modern wise world, statistically, 95% of people have a smartphone. All of the content that I produce is done on an Android device. And I went through on the first episode, if you haven't watched it, go back, have a look, certain apps that I use on there, and I'll show a little bit of a development on that in a bit. You hear buzz, buzz, that's why you don't record on a phone, it keeps going off. But if I turn it off, but I'm not going to get any record. Oh, go on, shall we turn it off? But I need the internet to show you some. Doesn't matter. It's not that important. Anyway, the process through ChatGPT didn't go further than let's set up a bit of a studio, bit of content, and then come to where I left off. And where we left off was to show a further development and how to get where we are now. But what I'm going to do instead of what I was going to do, which was to go down the process of just show how I set up certain things, I'm literally going to show you how I did the first episode, or thereabouts, just using this, and also show you how I'm editing this on here live at the same time. You'll understand. Initially, the ChatGPT, GPT, I keep saying that so many times, I can never get it right. Can I just call it the AI app? Because you can use any. They all do pretty much the same thing. I think there's Bard. I know that's Google's version. I've had a play with that. It does the same thing. They're all kind of based around the same bits. Some are a little bit more developed, some you have to pay for. ChatGPT is the OpenAI's free version, which is why not do the free version. So the conversation I had on here, I'll show you the conversation screen, which is why I've got it on my phone like it is here now. And you'll see, go, oh, hang on a minute. Some things that you mention, you have to prompt in different ways to get the response that you're after. I won't go too much detail with that, because I have had to ask the same question 4 or 5 different ways in order to get the answer that I wanted. I cut some of them little bits out and go over the broader scale, then show you the rest of the development. So it's highlighted as YouTube content ideas. We're ready for this. It went on, but it stopped. It's not, but it isn't at the bottom. There's a lot. There was so much that some of these are repeated though. So we've got like different, this actually repeats itself about particular host names. That was when I was creating different web addresses and things like that. And I will scroll up and scroll up, but I have taken the highlights, so it's not overly important. Which is, I will come off and do some of the highlights on here, which is where I started to. And this, following the conversation that I had with my friend in order to get to this process, was the very first question. If you were asked to set up a YouTube channel, what would be the best content? The reply was setting up a YouTube channel involves. This reply was actually a lot longer than I wanted it. So what I did is I put this reply into a text-to-speech app, and I'll show you that in a moment. I think one of my lights has gone out. I tell you what, these studio things, especially on the very first setup, I think I'll have a bit of a video about the next one, is what not to do and what to get ready. I shall return to this for now. Right, so apologies, let's just get back to this. So at the point of that reply, and it was a fair bit of a reply to go through. So I went for the text-to-speech applications. Now, if I pull up ChatGPT's response again, it was setting up a successful YouTube channel. It involves several considerations. And then it went on to point out all of the different considerations, which is when I went, oh, I'm not going to sit here and listen to all of this. Just a bit too much. I will just put the reply now.
Setting up a successful YouTube channel involves several considerations, including your interests, expertise, target audience, and the competitive landscape. The key to success on YouTube is consistency, quality content, engagement with your audience, and patience. Additionally, researching your target audience and staying updated with YouTube's policies and trends is essential. Choose a niche that you're passionate about, as it will be easier to stay motivated and create content that resonates with your viewers.
I've cut that down a little bit. It went on much longer than that, a lot longer. So let's just cut that bit down. Which then led to the next question. Would you be willing to assist me in setting up such a channel? Either YouTube specific or a podcast. And again, you saw how long that very first one, it just went on and on and on and on and on. So into the text to speech, I press it. I didn't want to read them all anyway. This wasn't a case of providing information and putting some sound up. I just didn't want to sit there reading that much. So
I can certainly provide you with guidance and information on setting up a YouTube channel or a podcast that focuses on AI, chatbots, or related topics. However, it's important to note that creating a successful channel or podcast requires a combination of effort, strategy, and creativity.
doesn't sound like it's going to be very easy. Not at this point. Again, all on phone. And this is where I asked, is there an application of which I can input text and it can read the text out to me in the form of a voice? And it told me that there are several applications. In fact, it didn't just tell me. I put it into the...
Yes, there are several applications and tools available that can convert text into speech using artificial intelligence generated voices. These applications are often referred to as text-to-speech, TTS, or speech synthesis software. Here are a few recommendations.
And then it continued to give me the recommendations. There was a lot. So I will come back to where we are here. Don't need that one. Right, so I won't keep doing this text-to-speech because I'll just kind of brief over a couple of points. So are any of them open source of which I could use on YouTube or podcast? And then it told me that some are, and we have to look at different licenses. So license compatibility, voice quality, which was already a concern to me. Can you provide me a list of open source TTS applications? As of my knowledge from when this was last updated, which with this being ChatGPT, I will get there, AI bot, Artificial Alice as we called it. 2021, then it gave me a list of text-to-speech apps. Brilliant. That's when I went and looked for an application, to which I found this one, which is called text-to-speech. I had to ask. Then we went into a conversation of, well, now this is where I will show a couple of bits, but I'm going to have to talk through a few points of it anyway. The conversation went along the lines of, do I need a website? Well, it depends how big you're going to take it, and then website costs money. I asked for a list of providers or assistants for the website, and then that put me in touch with different providers, one of the larger ones that I'm aware of, especially whilst doing a little bit of research into it, was one called GoDaddy. And I can show you on here now. I won't go into that one because that's not the one. We have GoDaddy. This is currently displaying artificialexploration.com. It's not set up as the recording of this, but you can still go to it. And if you're looking at it in a few years' time, definitely get on there because there'll be a website now. Get on there, have a look at that. You can literally type in what you want on here, and some of these websites, when they search for them, if the domain name is taken, it comes up like this: domain taken, of course, because that's mine. The very first one that was given to me as a try this name was doesn't matter, it was taken. I won't use it just in case. So then I asked for more, and it came up with AI exploration and loads of others until we settled on artificial exploration. I actually asked ChatGPT what its thoughts were on the name artificial exploration, and it gave me feedback on it. I thought that was brilliant. So the market research that it says that I need to do, I just asked it to do, and it did it. It's relatively simple for some of it, but then knowing how to get the best out of it was better. So yes, we go through this. Shall we do a search for one anyway? Shall we have a look for artificial exploration information? Someone can't have that, can they? The .co.uk is available at £6.99 for the first year. If we scroll down some of these, artificialexploration.shop, £1.37. Great British pounds. I'll throw up a couple of conversions for American and euros just in case. They're all quite close to each other nowadays, aren't they, anyway? So but yeah, if you have, they might actually be different due to tax reasons on different areas. So there probably isn't really any point in me putting the cost up because it changes so much. 96 pence. Less than €1. That's less than €1 or a pound or a dollar. It's so you don't need one. You don't need one. It's just I wanted to overdo it. It also hosts your very first page for you for free. So I've paid me £1 and I've got the artificial exploration website launching soon and a subscribe and sign up that isn't currently working because I'm really not very good with this. I've been too busy building a studio. And then last week when I wanted to start filming, it's bonfire night. So I sat here, I'm good with my audio, but I can't edit audio that much that I can take out that much sound. It's not happening. So give up. Next from that was designing a logo. So the question that I put on is, where can I get free logo designed for artificial exploration? It then told me a list of different areas that I can look at, or different websites, to which if I typed in free logo into Google, it just came up with loads of free logo websites in Google. Now some of these you do have to pay for. Looka, LOOKA.com was the one that I used in particular. And this one, it goes over all sorts when you create, but it also at the end of it, so you can come up with all sorts of different ones. You can, it displays your logo onto merch, and you can link the merch into shops and things like that. Now this does not mean that you have to go with this particular one, because Shopify, not endorsed in any way. They do logo, web, merch. You can go on there and create so much stuff. That's a whole season in itself just to get what I've done in little bits, but I wanted it a bit cheaper. So I've had to do little bits and connect them when they probably shouldn't have been connected, but we got there. Which then led into what I was talking about previously. Right, we've gone past the programs. So I've done the good TTS voice and things like that. I'll get back to that in a moment because now we're going back into processes. But then that led to where we are equipment wise and messaging people, revealing the greater good. There's a YouTube, not YouTube, sorry, I do promise, apologise, Facebook group called Artists Helping Artists. I went on that and I've engaged in that a few times. I've been with them a few years now. Some people can be a bit rude, but that's just people are trying to make money all the time. And I understand it's struggling as an artist anyway, a lot of people are. But a lot of people on there are brilliant. They've pointed me in directions that I wanted to go for creating visualizations. Now, the last episode, again, we had a visualization where it was just bars across the screen. I actually don't think I've got one to show you because I've got rid of them. They weren't very good. The bars across the screen idea worked for a bit, but I wanted more. It wasn't engaging. So whilst I've been building everything and talking to people about certain things as well, that's been quite a lot of insight, just naturally, just hi, I'm going down this path. Have you set up an Instagram? Have you set up a Facebook? I'm like, no. Why would I set up an Instagram for? So then I've gone back to GDV and gone, hello, what can I do? And well, putting it simply, I needed something that was more engaging. So we went through the process of creating a visual representation of a face. So you see, there hasn't really come that far. I've just sharpened a couple of areas that I needed to. I actually put a prompt in because at this point it felt like I was talking to somebody. It was really good. I've almost finished setting everything up, but I've recognised that we needed a few details which could be important. So I have a good TTS program, but what kind of voice would you want? Male, female, robotic, higher pitch, lower pitch, accent? And the replies went on, and it came down to, for a one voice suits all, it needs to be neutral, not too masculine because it's authoritarian, not too feminine. It's got to be something that would hold your interest but without boring you. And there's too much into this. I'll just go and have a go and I'll pick that. But then I started playing some of these to other people, and collectively I got, actually that one sounds the best. You don't want it too human-like, you still want a slight little bit in there. So I don't actually become a hermit and my best friend being an AI. which I've got no doubt at all is probably going to happen at some point. Not to me, hopefully. I really hope. Although it does feel that way at the moment. Right, so now we've established what we're doing. I'm on the very first recording of our YouTube and our podcast, which is called Artificial Exploration. Could you introduce yourself as that ChatGDP. Now, if you saw the first one, you see that this was a form of introduction that I put on there. I also went through the process of requesting it to give itself a name. I'm going to have to show you that. That's an entire episode on its own. Trying to get an AI bot that is telling you it is completely impartial and cannot make decisions to make a decision of what name do you prefer. Oh, yeah, that's a long one, but it did happen, and it chose Alice. It told us why it chose Alice, and I'll go into that into detail in a moment. I have a duck on my screen. It's not my battery going off, I apologise. So from that, including the voice, which I got from another application, I'll show you that application. I'll show you how I developed it and what I input to do that before we go on. So this is asking me to pay. No. Discount offer. No. So this one was enter a prompt. Now I did start with really small prompts, just like robot face, computer face, and head and shoulders, and I kind of got a little bit further on and on. Some of them didn't work, some did. The prompts you do yourself, you create a style. The different styles, most of them on here are blocked out at the moment because you need to pay. I don't need to pay for all of them. We've got a few on here, like some of the realistic portraits. I'm just hitting one in particular, which I'll do now, mainly because we've got watch an ad in order to get it, the blue one. And we'll click that. It's analysing prompts, and this is just an AI thing. Now, you have to prompt it. You put in negative prompts, positive prompts, and there's quite a few that you need to get over in order to. And I don't know if you can see. Actually, that's not a bad picture. I quite like that one. So if we come off that a moment, before I'd use one of those, we've got an upscale on here. I have to watch an episode for an upscale. I'm not watching episodes, let's just get this out of the way. I will screenshot. Hang on, I don't need screenshots. We've got a download button. Oh, you have to watch an ad. I screenshot it. I might enlarge it and just pop it up on the screen for a minute. I'm not paying for that one. I did. I'm going to admit, this is all honesty, I did pay for the app, which was, it broke it down into bits so I could do it for weekly. So I broke it into a week, and I just sat there, kept hitting refresh until I got one that I wanted. I've been doing it for days. My phone's full, my tablet's full, and it's all of just faces. And that is close enough that I don't need a great deal more on. So it's a little bit of an update as to why it took a little bit longer because of this, but now it's going to, it will just roll. This will roll now. Now we're in a position, we're all set up. I can just keep jumping up into the studio. I will get there. It will definitely be much quicker than it has. The face they were settled on, let's just get that out there, because that's kind of what I'm looking at. And I'm going to be honest with you, I've changed it so many times, I might not actually settle on this face yet. Where did we get to on this? So this was like the last one when I wanted it to introduce itself. And this is the face, and you're not going to be able to see it very good on this because it's quite small still. And this is the video. So let me get this particular video. So that particular video on here, and this will be the introduction that everybody saw
Here's
before.
an introductory script for your
So we'll see
YouTube
if I can get
video
it
and
zoomed in.
podcast episode. Introduction. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the very first episode of Artificial Exploration, the show where we explore the fascinating world of AI and technology. I'm your host, Artificial Ellis.
So you will have heard that introduction before anyway. When I have finished with this, it will then upgrade to a tablet, which I'll do in a minute, just for the sign off. So that shows what I have on the phone. When I've finished with that on the phone, I nearly missed it. I best get this one in there. I nearly missed this one. The Power Director was the other one that I was going to show. The Power Director that I have now, I will just show a very, very brief one as to the episode that we're producing now or doing now is going to be done like this. So add new project. It wasn't that one, it was that one. Now this particular one may get shown on the next episode. I'm not too sure. I'll probably just redo it all because there was fireworks going off, which is why I gave up on it to a degree. So if we drop them down like so, so this is where I am now. I'll knock that off completely. There you go. Similar. Bring it back. Don't you see how terrible it is? I would then add, and I've got quite a lot of different pictures on here. Let's get one that is quite plain just to show. Click next. We'll drop that down. Scooch that across a bit. Background, chroma key the background. Make sure that we can cut it all out. Tick. Make it big and and not the sound off, we don't need that. Dig. And then as soon as I finish with this, I don't know how I'm going to screen. Oh, actually yes. I was demonstrating the gimbal and the camera that I had on. It's so we can gimbal camera. Yeah, I probably will be using that soon. And there you go, it's gone off. So that was from the original. Can we backwards cut out? No effect. So we're not chroma keying, and that's what you have. Can you do the fireworks? That's a week after firework, after bonfire night. That's terrible. Which then brings to the last point. The very, very last one is going forward. We will have a larger display, which will then have our
Certainly, if you found this content
sign-outs.
valuable and engaging, please consider supporting our channel. If you haven't already, please subscribe to stay updated on all our future episodes and content. And for those who want to be the first to know when we release new material, click that bell icon so you receive notifications. Share our content with your friends and fellow AI enthusiasts, and let's build a community that's as passionate about AI as we are. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey. We look forward to seeing you in our next episode. Until then, stay curious, stay informed, and keep exploring the wonders of AI.
Can't really add anything to that.